Okay, growing up in a military family, I was exposed to what a plane could do to your surroundings, the culture around you, how much something can change within such a short amount of time. And I was always curious about that, but I never knew how a plane actually worked. That was until I moved to Fort Leavenworth, and then we lived on a street that if you go to the end and look over, you would see the Sherman Army Airfield. That offered me a opportunity to pursue a pilot's license. Working with multiple people and going through different programs, I was able to get a pilot's license for a fraction of the cost and more experience through multiple companies. I'm going to show you what type of inputs and how the plane moves before I explain what's actually happening with that. So I'm going to open this up, take off, move around a little bit, and then explain a few things on the whiteboard. Okay, now if I just put in the throttle, the plane will rear to the left, which is from something called P factor. That is the rotational, I'll just say it's magic right now and then I'll explain it on the board. At around 50 miles an hour, which you can't really see the speedometer that well, it will start becoming airborne, and then a little bit. And then there are two different types of speeds when you are climbing. There's the Vx and the Vy speed. The Vx speed is for the greatest amount of distance from the ground in the shortest amount of time. And then the Vy is as effective as the most effective rate per the distance up for the distance amount of time. And then there are the two flaps on the ends of the wings, and those are called ailerons. That in French means little wings, and that causes the plane to not turn but rotate around its center axis. So what's happening there is the change in lift due to the shape of the wing is one wing, the right wing, is lifted, creating more lift than the left wing, and then the weight of the plane is pulling it one way or the other. Pitch is up and down. That is controlled by the horizontal stabilizer. You can see that on the bottom of the screen. And then yaw, which is what I was using to cancel out the left turning tendency of aircraft, is controlled by the horizontal stabilizer. All of that combined can actually make the plane turn with increasing altitude and decreasing altitude, or oftentimes if you need to decrease altitude and not change your course, you'll do something called a slip, which that rudder is it's as turned as it can, and then the ailerons keep the plane going in a direction not where the nose is facing. So that's using the side of the aircraft as a brake. And then that is all the three primary flight surfaces. Now the blast surface that is one of the most important on the aircraft is for landing, and it's called the flaps. They are the inner, on the inside of the ailerons. Let's see if I can go. They increase how much lift is being produced by the aircraft. Well, so this means it could lose altitude at a greater rate without increasing the speed. So this increases the drag of an aircraft, and I'm not doing the correct pattern for entering and exiting a airstrip, but this isn't actually, this isn't entirely how you're supposed to do it, like, at all. This is purely so you can see what a flare is. So you want to line up on the runway, and then you want to keep the plane from, well, trying to keep the plane from touching the ground, which will slowly lose more airspeed with the drag, and then come to a stop. I'm gonna come to the whiteboard and explain the different ways an airplane creates lift and what makes flight actually possible. There are two laws that go into creating lift, and there is Bernoulli's law and Newton's third law. Newton's third law, everybody knows it. If you are in a car and you stick your hand out, you will feel the wind catch it up and pull it. That is because every force has an equal and opposite reaction. So that air is pushing your hand and you're pushing the air down at the same time. That is what's happening when I'm adding pitch, so my speed going forward is colliding with that air and pushing me up. Now the other most important piece of lift for that is Bernoulli's law, which says if two particles start at the same spot right here and end at the same spot, but one goes over a curved surface, this will have to travel more distance than this one. Now they will reach this same spot at the same time, which means that there is, okay. Can I finish explaining this instead of that, without that running?
Yeah, go ahead.